third, and this is the stadium with a capacity beyond every other stadium you know around the world. 101 million capacity. I'm not alone, as you can see. Buchi is here. Buchi, is a Thursday. How's your Thursday been?
Fantastic.
Along the roads were rough out there because some security persons were out there checking vehicle licenses and all that, and people found it a little bit difficult to move around the town freely.
That's true, but you can't blame them. They're doing their job. Kudos to them for that.
Kudos to them for that. All right, the old people are in the game of tennis are still making history. Of course, when I said old people, I don't mean all of them. It's just one old man there who doesn't want to turn old.
Never say die.
Never say that. Of course, still in the game of tennis, something that the justice system in some countries like Nigeria will take years to do has actually been done faster than that by Spanish courts, trying to granting somebody claims who sued. They could give you details about that. A game in Olympics, breaking news or celebrating news or news we should celebrate. In the Olympics, at least Nigeria is making waves, even though it's not on our soil.
Yes.
Which you have a little bit of that story. It's a sport that is popular in Olympics.
Yes.
Sometimes you look at it, you don't even know the name.
No, I think it's a very popular sport, especially if you're familiar with the winter, not the Summer Olympics.
Yes.
It's bobsledding. Bobsledding is a very popular sport. I think it's up there. It's one of the highlight events in the Winter Olympics. You have bobsled, you have a team bobsledding. In fact, if you remember back in the 90s, movie, a very popular movie, in effect,
yes.
Cool Runnings,
yes.
which was a comedy,
yes.
which featured the Jamaican bobsledding team. First time a team, island nation that has nothing like snow,
yes.
was featured in that sport.
An island without ice.
And now, exactly, an island without ice even. Now, it seems like Cool Runnings is now coming to life, especially in Nigeria,
yes.
in the sense that there's a little team, a female team,
yes.
a female Nigerian team based in the US,
yes.
who are actually out to make history. They're women's joint bobsledding team. They're all Nigerians, the ladies there, and they're out to set out a world record, being the first African team to be represented at the Winter Olympics in Pyongyang in 2018.
Around the corner.
Bobsledding.
How would these ladies train? Sheon Adigun, Ngozi Onwumere, Akoma Omelga. How would they train? Where are they training? Are they training in Ibadan or in Katsina or in Maiduguri? I'm just curious to know the details of this.
No, actually, they're all based in the U.S. Some of them have actually, I think Shehu Adigu has actually represented Nigeria before in London 2012. She did hurdles, I think 100-meter hurdles for us. They're all based in the U.S. They all have this shared dream.
So she's switching her career now.
Switching over from Summer Olympics to Winter Olympics. And she's found some other competitors, Ngozi Onwumere and Akuma
yes.
Omega. They're all athletes in their own rights.
Yes.
The two other ladies are both sprinters in American universities. One went to the University of Minnesota, I think she said there.
Yes.
Other person too. They all have competed. They're all athletes, but they shared this dream. They started it in Houston, Texas.
Yes.
They were actually doing it on dry land with a sled. And then they set
Which
up
is very risky.
Very risky. But then they set up a crowd-funded site to gain funding for them to actually participate and appeal to the public. And it seems like Visa, the big company,
big supporters of the sport as well, because a lot of teams from
the sport, big sponsors actually went through their crowd-funded site and saw their appeal and actually saw the potential in it, and now has fully backed them. So we're going to be, in fact, these three ladies are going to be making history not just for Nigeria, but also for Africa, being the first African female team to participate in bobsledding.
That is massive. Of course, we'll be having just let me say some negative news from people about Nigeria. But
yes,
when something good comes out like this, let's celebrate it. We're not celebrating it because we have an organization on ground here that is actually overseeing this. It's coming even on pages of international papers and not ours here. We don't have I don't think we have a bobsleigh federation here, nor a commission that could take care of that. But despite those hitches, they are out there to represent us. And if they come back with a gold or they participate, maybe we're going to have a fun fair somewhere.
And they're actually flying the team colors. But they're actually, if you go online, you can actually see them.
So far, they have done well.
They're doing well. They're proud to be Nigerians, although they're not based here. They've represented Nigeria before. They've even come out. They have some studio photos with them and the sled, and they're wearing Team Nigeria shirts. But then we have not actually acknowledged. Our government has not actually acknowledged these people. They're actually just doing this on their own, being sponsored by another company and being proud to sponsor. It's something phenomenal, and I think it's something we celebrate because back with the Laurel at Laurel.
So our flag will be flying there in Pyeongchang. Flag will hang there, and probably an anthem will. That means looking at the hazards in having a history of crashes. The latest one was Belgium, where because they used to have if it is a 3-man team or a 4-man team, they have the driver, then they have the brakeman. And it's just a funny sport. It is a 4-man team. 4 of them stand by the side of this thing that looks like a boat, and they slide down the snow at very high speed. The speed you start at the beginning is what sustains you to the end. And Olympic golds have been won by some countries in very short times. The US won in 1 minute 40 something seconds. Germany took one before the US broke that record, about over 2 minutes. It's a distance from heights, and the fans are so close to this rail, to this passage, that any crash most times on the ice, at the casualty figure, most times the athletes themselves are well guarded, well padded in helmets. It's the fans standing by the side. Even though there's a war, most times the bobsled goes a little bit off.
I mean, these are the bobsled. It's a sled. If you know anything about sled, it's sort of a
looks like a local village boat.
It looks like, imagine it like a cart with if you know ice skates. It has 2 blades on glide over the ice, and the course. And like you said, things can reach phenomenal speeds. We're talking about 150. Talking about up to 150 kilometers an hour, and you're just sitting there on that thing and you're speeding through. So it takes a lot of mental skill
by the driver, who is the lead athlete there.
Exactly.
Why the brakesman concentrate on? It's just an amazing sport.
It's an amazing sport, and for these people to actually, not just them participating, is history in itself. Because you look at the teams, you look at the countries that actually participate. We're looking at people. Germany, Switzerland, the United States, Canada, Soviet Union, China. I mean, these are teams and countries that actually have snow. And this is a team that I don't think, let's say, aside from them being in the US, these young ladies probably never even.
Okay, Buchi, over the years, but let me take you through it. Let me look at the table and tell you in the Olympics, the regular Olympics, dominant countries, it has been Germany, Switzerland, the United States, Italy, Austria, Russia, Canada, Great Britain, Belgium, Latvia. That surprised them on that list. Latvia, France, Soviet Union, like you said. And a lot of them have won amazing medals. Germany having the highest, I think, 18 total in the last Olympics. But then there are also issues of injuries, very fatal crashes, like I said. And we have a long list here of generally over 42 accidents recorded for just a given number of races. Yes. Apart from the sponsors whom we have already advertised, supporting these ladies, if they get involved in an injury, are we going to abandon them the way we abandon our athletes?
Well, we haven't even acknowledged them that they are our athletes in the first place. So I think
they have donated themselves to the country.
They are Nigerians. Of course, you're going to identify with your country, but your country must identify with you in these things. And of course, we like to be where we're celebrated. If these girls actually do something, we'll pop out. But then if anything should happen, you hear something like, "Oh, who told them to go? They went their own." Blah blah blah. That kind of stupid.
I use that language, same language over and over. But we wish them luck. And the 3 ladies out there trying to represent Nigeria, committing themselves and at their own risk and at their own detriment,
their own pockets, their own everything. But they're proudly flying the flag, and here on the stadium,
wish them all the best. Totally. Buchi, in the game of tennis, Rafa Nadal is not out of the news yet, despite the fact that he left the ATP Tour of Finance in London. He has popped out in the news again. News has it that he had a claim of damages from sports minister, the French sports minister, Roselyne Bachelot. He asked that she pays him about 100 million euros, but the court has granted, I think 12 thereabout.
About 12, 10,000 depending.
He sued. He sued her for damages, said that she made comments about him being involved in doping. People have been talking about the way Rafa plays, and they think his strength is too phenomenal. And the French sports minister actually came out to say that. And Rafa sued. The case didn't go down under the carpet.
Course.
They looked into it and they have awarded him 12,000 euros.
He actually sued for 100,000 but got 12,000, which is I think is a step in the right direction. I mean, but this isn't the Williams sisters for years, many years. People actually, excuse me, claim that they were doping, and they've gone through multiple tests to show that yes, it's just their God-given talents and phenomenal powers.
Yes.
Their prowess on the court. It's not a doping thing. Sometimes be extraordinarily
Are
good
suspected sometimes.
at their game are suspected.
But those who are quiet and simple sometimes are involved in this, and nobody suspects
Of course,
them.
trying to meet up.
It's like when success comes, people start suspecting you that something must have led.
There must be some sort of nefarious thing that you've done to get to that fame or get to that notoriety. So kudos to him on that, because this is a definition of character. He stands against his image, and this is the world #1 player. He has a public face, a facade to keep out there. He puts, a
lot of brands.
He promotes a lot of brands, living
and his image rights would have suffered.
Exactly.
Like what happened to Maria Sharapova.
Exactly.
A minister
to come out to say,
what facts did she have?
What facts? Based on what? So, I'm even surprised. Well, maybe, of course, they soft-pedaled it to let this side, but if I was a court, if I was a judge, I would actually award him.
Fully.
Yes, he deserves the full. He deserves it. Somebody who's. You can't just say that.
I think people will be glad to do that. People will be glad to say that the courts actually granted that. Before we go to a short break, let's go to exactly what happened with Roger Federer today. We spoke about this game, and we thought that he's going to have a very big, difficult game against Marin Cilic, your friend, your very good friend. But Roger again proved that he is not old still.
Of course.
At 36, Roger played this afternoon. Amazing tennis. Of course, in the first set, your friend took it.
Yes.
But he came back in the second, nailed him down, and then in the third set, it was all over for him.
I think this is something with Federer. I think what he does. We saw this against Sok. We saw this against Zverev.
Yes.
He lets you have the first set, feels you out, and then the next two sets he just bashes you in and shows that dominance, skill of play. It doesn't matter the kind of power and exuberance as that wealth of experience. And he wrapped it up. He wrapped it up with the second and third set. Wrapped it up. Marin Cilic is out of the game. And like I said, he's the top favorite. He's my favorite.
He's a favorite to win the competition. Who is your favorite out there? This is the Stadium on Human Rights Radio, 101.1 FM. Do not mistake it for any other channel. When we come back from this very short break, we'll open the phone lines and we'll dive straight into the world of football. Stay with us. is third. Here with me is Buchi, one and only. Anybody else resembles him alone. So arrest the person and bring them here. But when you bring the person, we give the person a 101 million. That's it. They're out there. The Brazilian Grand Prix that just got had some. Most of what happened was about the vehicles and the drivers, the team. Something significant happened during the practice drive. Mercedes, that boss, their crew, got robbed at gunpoint.
Yes.
By some Brazilian guys. This is not the first time we're hearing this coming from Brazil.
No,
during the World Cup as well.
World
there
Cup,
were a lot of
happened,
incidents.
Rio, it happened.
Olympics as well.
It's unfortunate. Yes, the Mercedes team during that was a practice run. It was on Saturday.
Yeah.
Their team bus actually got robbed at gunpoint. Gunmen came on the bus, robbed the people there, and made off with some items. And now, of course, F1 didn't want to jump into the case right off. They decided to wait after the Grand Prix itself, which happened on Sunday. And now the FIA and Formula decided to open up or launch a full investigation. They even came following the last weekend's the FIA discuss event security for the top council. Security is always key. Dealing with
sensitivity of life,
sensitivity of life, very expensive equipment, and people's lives, like you said, it's very, very key. And I think sort of other more stringent and strict
would implemented
because actually
host country, the security.
It's not like we said. It's not a occurrence. Yeah. Something has to be. I think maybe the authority find maybe some sort.
But if this happens, if this happens in another country, let me say that, like Nigeria, if at all we're able to, that's the end. Never host.
It will never be considered again. But that's the thing. Never happened.
Singapore hosted. Asia hosted. The countries that are, let me not, but this actually, other aspects were bigger than them. The Formula One, of course, in sports, in that hosted. This didn't happen. Brazil has had a lot of very short. They are not able. Here, the only security will come. Forces. You think Formula One should be declared in
having your
work with the local security?
Hospital. Of
that league. A lot of economic benefits in terms of tourism.
Tourism.
Airliners.
Exactly.
Even the media, papers, print and electronic.
All these things, they are
they spend a lot of money building the ticket.
You're sure that
and don't forget that that's a permanent fixture on the lower calendar. Still needs to step up. The one man who has stepped down. Bad news of. This is the Stadium of Human Rights Radio FM. Me is Buchi. You can join us and be a part of this conversation on 89991011. That's 0819911.
For all the wrong reasons.
Sponsors, and their honors. Even though the cost of young people are. Oh, good evening. Oh, good evening. All right, try and call us again on 099. Watching football very exciting. Oh, good evening. What's happening? Try to reach us again. We'd like to hear all the things. The Premier League at the moment. Oh, good evening. Angry that Roger Federer defeated him. What's responsible economy around?
World is getting.
I see this course for what
you know. I do.
Oh, good evening. Oh, good evening. Oh, oh, Mr. Muller, welcome to the stadium.
Appreciate you.
Very much.
Voice,
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very
Thank you
much.
so much.
They're still savoring the victory of the. Uchi, you are saying of buying tickets. Endless.
Google, YouTube.
Are you saying that to our fans here as well? We're trying to
No, I mean
stadium,
we're trying to get people.
Hello.
This.
Good evening. Brian 081899991. Call.
Have diehard. Haven't eaten.
Oh, good evening. Welcome to the stadium. Fine, very fine. Please turn down the volume of your radio set. Please, when you call, do turn down the volume of your radio from us and your call us on 081 99. Spain, most expensive city. When you go for buy in thousands. Start thinking in millions.
That's a 6 or
Some people will resign.
exactly. That's
That's why some supporters get very, very angry when their team don't give them.
exactly.
And then they start asking for Wenger out.
Sometimes
Hello, good evening.
The performance.
Good evening. Welcome to the stadium.
Yeah, I'm calling from.
Okay, Sheriff, please do turn down the volume of your radio. We're having a hall back.
Okay.
All right, it's better now. Your contribution.
Yeah, first of all, I want to congratulate the Super Eagles for winning chief match against Argentina. But my problem with Super Eagles, they take friendly matches very serious compared to the real match. If it's match that they cannot win Argentina. So that's how I look at it. That's my contribution.
Okay, thank you, Sheriff.
You're welcome.
All right. Sheriff, they are talking about what you spoke yesterday.
Exactly.
Yes. Which before we wrap up, let's look. 18 to 20. Most of them. 1%. 7%. Cost.
Well, I mean, of course, I mean, have all these.
Not a live watch.
No, it's not.
Looking at the match,
don't get me wrong. But
in the comfort of
thing.
All right, we're almost packing out and getting out of this. There'll be matches on Saturday. The big matches, Arsenal and Tottenham, will be talking about that game. Details tomorrow. X-ray all other matches leagues across the world. London Derby, London. But you know, last time I said we got defeated. I don't know what will happen. Heavily. Prayers of over the weekend or early next. Because there are openings for the Italian job. Conte is called as well. Look at that tomorrow. Heavily. Plenty show Saturday. This is a stadium on 1011. Pack our load and leave it. Thanks to Brownie, thanks to Chike and his team. Tomorrow evening.